All right, back live once again. The big three is back all together. We got week 15 recap, week 16 predictions. Um, week 15, I think it was a little bit of a letdown. I thought, especially the 4 o'clock games would be a little bit better, but they happened. Football happened. Besides that, Monday night, kind of some stinkers. Sunday night, stinker. Thursday night, a lot of disappointment from a lot of touchdown bettors out there. But let's dive right in. So last week, obviously, Mikey making his return to the channel / pod. Did not make picks last week. Last week was a 2-man show, me and Cam. So Cam, you were 9-7. I was 8-8. So not our best work, but a lot of gamblers would love
500 and above, yeah.
yeah, they would love to go 500. So, ow. So we'll take that. Overall, in the year, we have Mikey at 85, 77, and 1, 52% success rate. I'm at 123, 98, and 3, still sticking at 56%. And Cam, you're at 106, 68, and 2. I believe you might have gone down from 62 to 61%, or just stayed at 61%. A lot of games we picked, so it's going to be hard to change these percentages, but miracle runs can happen. We also had Rat 4, 8, and 1, 33%. And Mark 9-7, 56%. So those are our guests who have shown up one time. So let's dive right into the week 15 recap. We had Thursday night football, Rams 49ers. As I just mentioned before, no touchdowns. Honestly, I didn't watch I didn't watch the second half of this game, but from what I heard, it was kind of just not that great football. Cam, you watched it. What was your takeaway from Rams 49ers?
Extremely boring. The weather definitely impacted it, but I hate saying that because they're professional athletes and they act like they haven't seen a drop of rain. But hey, that's AFC West football. They want to play like that in the playoffs, or both of these teams would get smacked. So obviously the 49ers, kind of a tough loss for them, pushing them further out of the playoff race. I don't know if they're officially eliminated yet, but it's near impossible, I'm pretty sure. But Rams, I mean, I guess if you want to take away that they can win a gritty game against a divisional opponent on the road, maybe, but I was not impressed by anything within this game.
I think it's a nice win for the Rams. The 49ers, I don't know. I think we kind of were like, we didn't want to call them back last week, but, they had a solid game against the Bears. Maybe the Bears are just a dog shit team, but I don't know. I think this NFC West is kind of taking form. I think it's kind of the Rams division to lose at this point. I mean, especially with the Geno injury, 49ers kind of look like a disaster. And who's the other team? The Cardinals, who are just terrible. So I think Rams might be looking at Vikings coming to town round 1. That'll be interesting. Or who's the other team? Packers. One of those two teams could be coming into LA for a first round matchup. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, not really much else I'm taking away from this game. Just a rainy, kind of shitty game. But I like the Rams being able to pull this out. Playoff bet lives on. Next game, 1 o'clock, we had Cowboys-Panthers. Were you boots on the ground, Cam?
I was not. Unfortunately, we had a friend come into town, and it was also somebody's birthday, so we just went to a bar and watched it. We were going to go, but the tickets were like $150 for two of the worst teams in the entire NFL, so decided not to go. But I don't know what I picked in the pod, but I know day of I actually picked the Cowboys money line, which was perfect. I don't know, just kind of reeked of something a little weird with the Panthers being favored for the first time in like 3 years. So, yeah.
Yeah, we both did pick the Cowboys, and the points kind of saw a similar thing there. I also did place Cowboys money line. Yeah, that felt pretty free. It felt like the Panthers of old were back. Like there wasn't a lot of progress from what they did in the last couple of weeks. Like this just seemed like them from even before that time period. Cowboys, I don't know. They kind of seemed like a sneaky covers team. Like they could potentially have something cooking. Yeah, I mean, Cooper Rush, he had that stretch run a couple of years ago, but this is the Panthers we're talking about. So
yeah,
I said before, we're not going to really stick along these games that don't really mean much. So we'll keep it moving. The defending reigning Super Bowl champions, 2-time Chiefs. I think the bigger question in this game is what's the Mahomes injury look like? Short week, Saturday game, Wentz potentially taking the helm. I can updated report, Mahomes was a full participant in practice today, but I think it was kind of just like a walkthrough practice, so I'm not sure what he would have done on like a full day. So I think they may err on the side of caution. We can talk about that when they're with their game next week, but any takeaways from this game in particular? I feel like this one wasn't really that important, like nothing really great happened.
I mean,
Jameis just throwing like a million picks again.
Yeah, no, I just felt like that line was too short. I know we've been talking about how the Chiefs just have been scraping away wins and they're not like a great team to pick with the spread. But when you see them only 4 points, I think I compared it to another matchup that was like the same, but it was two much closer teams. It just seemed like the Chiefs were way too underrated in this. So I did place the Chiefs minus the 4, and that ended up hitting for me. Um, I don't know. This Brown, I think they're kind of leaning towards not Jameis, is what I've heard, but I could be wrong. For next week, we can also talk about that when we get to it. But yeah, I mean, no real takeaways. Didn't really mean anything for either team.
Yeah, we saw DTR get in the game. I think if the Browns just had I feel like Jameis just had one of his like worst days. I think the Browns could have kept it close. I don't know what the 4 was about. I mean, that was just a trap that I guess I fell right into because I picked the Browns. But yeah, not really much else to take away from that one.
Did you mention taking Brown's money line? Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, actually, I think I did. I think I did. I'm pretty sure I placed it as well.
That's right.
I thought it was like one of those like always
Vegas
I'm
knows something we don't. Fair.
Yeah, +4. Like I don't know. I thought that was a weird spot, but Chiefs still have one loss. We'll see if that changes in the near future. Next one, Texans Finns. We were on opposite minds of this one. I had the Texans. You had the Dolphins. I got the Dolphins in like the right above dead category. They're kind of with the Bengals for me. Like they need to win out in order to do something. I think the AFC. There's a lot of wins, a lot of teams they're chasing in the AFC. So I'm kind of out on the Dolphins for now, but we'll see what happens in these last. There's only 3 weeks left, which I think is crazy. Like,
yeah, I know.
The season has flown by, but Texans continue to be solid in my mind. Like, I think they're a solid playoff team. I'm not sure what their first round matchup will look like, but I think they could be liable to lose that game. And if not, they'll definitely lose in the second round. But I like what they're doing, like slowly building up. Hopefully, they can get everyone healthy back next year. But any takeaways from this game in particular?
It kind of makes me believe less in the Texans, honestly. I know I picked the Dolphins. That was more just anti-Texans. I don't think this Dolphins team's a good team, even though it seemed like they were stringing along wins. And they also didn't really put this Dolphins team to bed. Like, that's a one-score final score. And it also, I don't know if you watched it, but the Dolphins had an opportunity to tie the game. Like, it was, like, it potentially almost went to overtime. They had the ball. I think they got it to, like, maybe the 35. And they obviously had a few chances to score. But just the fact that they can't put a team like the Dolphins out of their misery seems like you mentioned, potentially a first-round exit, even though they have the game at home. I don't know what I'm going to do in the future with them. They're kind of sketchy to me, but we'll see. I think they might just be more matchup based.
Yeah, well, I think the Dolphins aren't like the Dolphins are a solid team, so I think I don't think that this game is really impacting like my analysis of them. Like I think the Dolphins are a solid team. I don't know if that's like not putting them to bed is anything. I mean, I don't know. They still have Tyreek. I know Jalen Waddle got hurt. I think A-Chain had a pretty good game, but yeah, kind of a nothing game. We'll keep it moving. Michael,
the boys,
your thoughts?
I was able to listen to this game driving home. It was not a great listen, obviously, because I wanted them to lose. I would have bet them. I mean, they were officially eliminated last week, so now it's lose out or nothing. Basically, Jaguars, Mac, you only beat them by 7 points, and
dude, Mac looked good. Come on, Mac looked good.
Sauce got his first pick in a year and a half or something.
I tried to show the Mac jersey.
Yeah, that was a terrible attempt. Yeah, good try though.
Didn't work. Yeah, I don't know. All the news out of Jets land is just not great. A lot of speculation about like Garrett maybe trying to want out this offseason. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Because he's been in the league for 3 years and he's had 3,000-yard years and he's won like 6 games.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk about it more on other pods, but next year.
Have you been able to check out the Aaron Rodgers doc?
No, it came out today, I think.
Oh, it came out today?
It came out today, yeah.
Yeah. I have not. I will watch it, but I have not gotten
I think I might too. I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan, but I I don't know if this is gonna make me like humanize him more or just make me hate him even more. Like,
Yeah, there's no in between. basically.
exactly, yeah. So we'll see.
I love Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know if I'm gonna watch that shit. How
It'll
many
be
Does look
episodes?
low key bad. I don't know.
How many
Like,
episodes is it?
3.
Maybe that's like a while I'm working type thing.
Fair.
It'll be interesting what they do this offseason with him. I don't know.
Agreed.
GM search today. They interviewed 2-3 guys. I saw.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that news, but
Yeah.
as for this game, heart attack because I had the Jets in a parlay and also bet them straight up 3.5, and then them having to score a touchdown with like 2 minutes left. I think there was a little bit of Aaron though. I mean, granted, this is like
it was second half. Second half, Devontae was he had like
Devontae played his
170
ass
yards in the second half or something like that. Yeah.
There was a little bit of magic there. I think they could win out and get like at the 15th pick. No,
That'd be Jets football. That'd be electric.
Yeah, the Jags are awful. The Jets, I think everyone's looking forward to the offseason to see what they do. And yeah, Mac had some pretty bad plays, but we can skip over that. This one, Commanders Saints, close one. We both had the Commanders -7.5. This was not on one of my TVs all day, so I didn't see anything on this one. But
So you didn't see it? You didn't hear about the ending?
No, I saw the ending, but
okay.
That was like the only thing I saw from the game. I know Jake Haener got benched, which they're just doing like the Colts by putting in Jake Haener to start, then pulling him for Spencer Rattler when they did the vice versa that a couple weeks ago.
And they won for 2.
Yeah,
so.
They're kind of spicy though. Like I like this Saints team. I've been getting like hate on it because I like the Saints and I'm picking them, but like I don't know. I think they can make games interesting. They're kind of like they're one of those teams that's dead in the water, but they're fun because they can at least make it like a close game. Like they provide entertainment value. I hope that continues with either Rattler or Haener because it looks like Carr is not going to come back this season. But I don't know. Commanders continue to sketch me out. I don't love them moving forward. If they make the playoffs, we kind of all said it a couple weeks ago. They're going to be out first round. But any extra takeaways from this game, Cam, or?
No, yeah. I just thought that. Do you have any thoughts about the referee making that call, kind of extending the game? I know it doesn't impact our bet specifically, but
the clock stopped working. That was fun.
Yeah. So the ref kind of like, I don't know how, but he basically like blew the play dead, and it stopped the clock for a solid 4 seconds. And then they spotted it and realized that they had to start the clock, so there's no timeouts, and the ball was in play, like it was in bounds. So then they start the clock, and they're able to spike it with, I think, like a second left. And obviously, like if those 4 seconds aren't ran off, then they wouldn't have had that play to score the touchdown. They went for 2 and almost got it, like to win the game. So thankfully they didn't, which would have fucked over, I think, a lot of like money line parlays. Thankfully the Skins pull it out, but like you said, I don't really know how I feel about them like postseason. I know they're exceeding expectations right now with their rookie quarterback, but they're going to need a lot in order to win a game in the playoffs. So we'll see, but
it's felt like it's kind of fallen off. Like, I don't know. I feel like the first couple of weeks, and then it's kind of like people aren't really caring that much about Jaden anymore. I think that rookie of the year race is getting real tight. I don't know what the odds are. But
I agree.
I
think Bo's favored. Yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's not good for Mark. Anyways, yeah. I don't know. The Commanders, I think, are on a kind of downward spiral, but I'm interested to see what they come out with to end the season in the next couple of weeks. And they have a big game this week, and also what they do in the offseason to improve around Jaden. Saints, I think Carr could be gone. I don't know. I think they have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think I think he smelled.
Not last 1 o'clock game. One of the last 1 o'clock games. Ravens -17 favorite in New York. Michael, we saw Tim Boyle out there this game. I'm not sure if you heard about that, but
nope.
Yeah. So DeVito just like disappeared at half. I'm pretty sure he got hurt. And then Drew Lock was like in a boot before the game, and he used the emergency quarterback. So of course he put in the guy who threw 11 picks and 1 touchdown in college, Tim Boyle, who I have no idea has a job in the NFL and continues to get a job in the NFL, but that's not really important. The big story here, Ravens cover 17. Wow, that was crazy.
On the road too.
Yeah, some big spreads being covered. I remember the Lions covered 14 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This game was also not in any TVs, but
yeah, agreed.
Lamar,
go ahead, Mike.
Lamar was keeping himself in the MVP race with 5 touchdowns until the Bills played, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I think this is a good sign for people that like the Ravens, like being able to like punch a team in the mouth. I know it's just the Giants, but like that was not a game. Like the Ravens, I think it was the second half they just absolutely dominated and just put them right to bed. I mean, I don't know. Don't think I did any touchdown scoring bets last week on the Ravens, but maybe this week. I mean, obviously big matchup, but I don't know. Like you said, I didn't really watch it because it's one of the worst games. I kind of expected it to be a blowout, but not 17. I think covering that spread is pretty impressive, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Lamar just showed he's still got that passing acumen. I mean, he hit, I think, Bateman twice, Andrews once, and then either like Zay or somebody else once. Good for them. Like, this is kind of what you'd expect, though. Giants, I think, still heading towards that number one pick. I'm going to keep saying that. I think that's the question right now in that office is whether you take Shadur or Cam Ward. I mean, obviously, the season still needs to play out. I think it's going to be one of those situations where either the Giants or the Raiders are like, fuck up and win a game, and one of them's gonna have the first and second pick, so they get their pick of their guy. But that's not really what we're here to talk about today. Yeah.
Can we see the Giants and the Raiders win a couple of games to end the year, and the Pats end up with the number one overall pick?
I don't know if
I need to trade the fuck out of there. Though.
Yeah, I don't know if I should save this for the Pats, but I don't want the Pats. I don't even want the Pats to pick Travis Hunter. I don't want them to.
I agree.
If they have the third pick, they should trade down. I want them
Absolutely.
I think the focus. Well, I'm going to get to it because that's where.
Yeah, fair.
We're going to get there in a couple seconds. So, this one, Bengals. A lot of people still like the Bengals. I still like them to cover spreads, but their season's dead in the water. They still have like the impossible scenario. I think the Broncos need to lose out. Colts need to lose one more, and there's one more team who needs to lose one more. It's not going to happen, but it's fun to think it will. And I like the Bengals with motivation because at least when you bet on them, like they have something to play for. Joe Burrow was pissed off. I saw the John Boy breakdown of that today. That was yesterday. That was pretty funny. Shout out John Boy for his good breakdowns and stuff like this. But I don't know what he was all pissed off about. But yeah, pretty sloppy football by both teams here. I mean, the Bengals fumble through the end zone on I think it was a pick six or a fumble Ruski, I forget. But I don't know. Just Titans will continue to be a fade train.
I was gonna say, I like the Bengals against Titans. Like, I don't know if I like the Bengals overall. I mean,
they covered against the Cowboys. Right. They covered.
Yeah, it is fun for them, like, to root for them because they do have an electrifying offense. Like, they're an entertaining brand of football. They're just not winning football. Also, shout out John Boy. Do you remember when I got posted on John Boy for flipping off someone on ECU?
You probably shouldn't say that for
No, that's all right. All the 5 viewers probably.
Yeah, the ECU Pirate fans will come get you.
Yeah, fuck the ECU Pirates. No, but yeah, I mean, like you said, like they can beat up on teams just because they can score that many points, and some of these terrible teams can't. It's just they have a lot to think about in the offseason, and like, if they're going to keep T, or are you going to like kind of delegate whatever money you spend on him on the defense, because obviously that's been absolutely atrocious for the entirety of the year. But I mean, yeah, no real thoughts. I mean, it's the Titans. Obviously, just don't touch them. So,
I thought T. Higgins was going to be a Pat.
I hope. I was going to say he was born to be a Patriot, bro.
Who said that's not happening anymore?
Nah, T and then Hunter Renfrow, bro, just completely bring.
Hunter Renfrow's like out of the league, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't exist anymore.
I know that's exactly. Get him. Yeah, we get him for cheap. That's perfect. We like an underdog. So,
one last question about the Bengals. Do you think they fire Zach Taylor? Like, I'm assuming they missed the playoffs.
I don't think so. I think it depends. I would love to see Vrabel go there, but I can't imagine it. Like, I think he's got an Ohio State written all over him. I think Ryan Day, especially. I think if Ryan Day loses this weekend, I think it's Vrabel's job. But I don't know. Yeah. If there's a team that I would rather go to, if I'm Mike Vrabel and it's the Bears or the Bengals, why the fuck wouldn't you go to the Bengals? And if you're the Bengals, why wouldn't you want to bring in a guy like Mike Vrabel? But
because
I don't
cheap.
know. Fair. Okay. But I also
but the Bears are also cheap. I don't know who's.
Yeah, I just don't think Zach Taylor's getting fired. But that's just
we'll see. Black Monday, I think there could be like at least 8 jobs open this year because there's already like 4. But moving to the 4:00 window, depression hits. Wearing my best Drake May jersey, just kidding. But this was a sad one to watch. You know, this is the one we had circled every week. We're circling this game now because it's the one we need to win. Besides this week, because we're playing the Bills, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Yeah, it looks like we're going to finish worse than we did last year, which I think is reflects really poorly on the coaching staff, the GM, everyone involved with the team. Even the Crafts, we saw Jonathan Kraft. I don't know if you saw that clip. He was pretty upset with how things were going. I've been on the AVP gotta go train, but looks like Jonathan Kraft has joined me. I've been rebuked by you guys, so I mean, take it away on Alex Van Pelt, but it just seems like I don't know. Let's talk about this game first. So anything you saw, particularly from this game, and then we can kind of go into the overall way to
I know
fix the team.
I know it's kind of natural for us, especially as New Englanders, typically kind of already like naturally pessimistic. And then when our team's been dominant for the past 20 years, it's easy to just not like this is not Patriots football. But I think we got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, I think watching Drake May play is extremely exciting. And I kind of knew going into the year this wasn't our year. And we, like you said, I hope that we could build upon it, maybe get a win or two more than last year. But I'm seeing things out of Drake May that I've honestly never really felt with Mac Jones. And I was a massive Mac Jones guy, and I still will support Mac Jones. But Drake May just brings a different life to this team. And I don't know if it's necessarily like the coaching staff or if you want to go strictly offensive coordinator. Just the culture around it just seems like there's no talent in order to win football. And it's almost like they know that, and Drake's just trying to do everything that he can to keep this team in it. I don't know if that means that Gerard's gone or if you want Van Pelt. I don't know. I also think it's just an underwhelming amount of talent. It's an absurd roster, and Drake May's making plays that I don't think many other quarterbacks could make in the NFL with this roster. So it makes me excited, but obviously a little bit disappointed. Like I said, hopefully maybe the Giants and the Raiders fucking win a couple games and we end up getting the number one pick trade out of there. But I don't know. The offseason will be interesting. That's different than previous New England Patriots off seasons with Tom. It was very dull. But now it's something to look forward to. Who are we going to bring in around Drake? And I don't know. Could be a sexy draft too. You might get a couple receivers. You might get some linemen, some big names. So we'll see. But that's kind of my piece on it.
I want them to take a tackle in the first round and trade down to. I think they need to build the offensive line because I think Drake May. I've seen enough where he can make players around him better. Obviously, you need better players than fucking Booty, who's giving the ball to the other team.
Yeah.
And then, Douglas is a good number 3 wide receiver, but besides that, Hunter Henry's okay. But they got to get some weapons around him, but that can come at a different time. I think you got to build up that offensive line, or he's going to get killed back there.
Yeah.
I guess. You can be of one of two minds, I think. It's either you're looking at the coaching staff and saying, this is their first year, let's just let them all develop with Drake. It's better to keep all those guys in place while he's developing. Or you look and say, we got to get rid of these guys. We got to get real players. Switch everything up.
I think Gerard needs a fucking press coach, low key. Him doing press conferences
oh my God,
is fucking disgusting.
Every week, there's something
and then you have to walk
says.
it back the very next day. It's dude. You're the head coach of the fucking team. You should probably know what not to say. You're also a player for Bill Belichick, too. You usually don't say shit to the media anyway.
He's got to learn, the art of just, saying something and also saying nothing at the same time.
Exactly. Being a politician.
And then, I just had a thought, but I forgot it. I don't know. I just hope they don't ruin Drake May, because it does seem like he has a lot more talent than Mac Jones, and he can be I know what I was going to say. So I think they can keep everyone, but if Daboll becomes available, they need to make a full force effort to get him. And if he signs with someone that's worse than us or takes a college job or that's an offensive coordinator college job, that'll be a shame. We need Daboll back in the Patriots. That's my campaign for that.
Okay.
Because look what he did with Josh Allen. I'm not saying Drake May's Josh Allen, but he's.
I don't mind that take. I like it.
All right, comments coming in from the chat. Bro said he's a massive Mac Jones guy. Your response.
I am. I have a signed helmet from him, right across the apartment. I don't know if that was more of a shot. Why would you be? He almost beat the Jets. He played his ass off.
I'm wearing his jersey right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
It's hard to hate Mac, even though he kind of is a dirty player. But we don't need to talk about it. Here's a theory from a fan: trade down to 8 or 9 with Browns or Bengals and get Banks, and then trade back into the mid-20s and get Emeka, Buka, or Bond. Who's Banks? Is that a tackle?
Who the fuck's a Buka? That guy that's been I'm gonna be a first-round pick for the next 3 years, and he doesn't do shit.
That's Ohio State.
Yeah, exactly.
Bond is the guy in Texas, transfer from Bama. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if I
know
want to
that.
trade back into. I don't trust this team drafting wide receivers. I'd rather they get guys in free agency.
Agreed. Give me T.
Dable
Higgins.
OSU. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Kelvin Banks. That's not really helping. All right, we'll keep it
Yeah.
moving. More 4 o'clock. We had Broncos destroy the Colts. Another one. I didn't think this was going to be. I thought this
I
would
thought
be
that was a fucking layup.
semi-interesting. I don't know. I mean, we took the Broncos. Luckily, I didn't have my blind faith in the Colts as usual, but I don't know. This game was less like I thought the Colts. It was interesting for like a half, and then the Broncos just kind of ran with it. I think they were at home as well. Colts all but dead in the water, kind of do the same thing they always do every season, but Broncos looking strong for that 7-6 seed range. So, any takeaways from this game? I've said it before, kind of a boring one, but
Mike, you have anything? Or I mean, I don't really think this tells me much about the Broncos. I know it's a big win. They kind of put them away in the second half, but I'm not a massive fan of this Colts team. This Broncos team honestly kind of reminds me a little bit of the Redskins, where they'll win game. I know they played the Chiefs pretty tight too, but I don't know. Like they just seem like their wins come against the majority of them are against those teams that are like last in their division because that's where they were last year. So I'm curious to see. We'll kind of prefacing going into next week how they do against the Chargers, but I don't know how I feel about them for the remainder of the year.
Kelvin Banks is a tackle. Y'all suck. Sorry, I'm just not familiar with the tackles. That's kind of like a March, April thing.
Yeah,
but
exactly. We're focused on the NFL right now.
Yeah, I'll dive into the off-season stuff when we get to it. Bills Lions, big one. Bills money line was a hammer. Luckily, that hit. Lions would not go out without a fight, but it's a tough thing because I like this Lions team a lot. But to see all those injuries happen, your guy Montgomery out for the season. It's going to be strictly Gibbs. I don't know how much that impacts things because, I mean, you still have a pretty strong runner, but a lot of defensive injuries. Like, I think they had 4 or 5 injuries this year. I don't know. I mean, not this week, not this year, but I don't know. Hopefully they can continue to be the Lions team because I think they do truly deserve it in Detroit, but the Bills, what a win, man, on the road. I mean, this was a crazy game. Even though it wasn't even that close, like one of these teams could just go down the field immediately and score. So it was like interesting watching that back and forth.
It was super entertaining. I also hammered Bills money line. I also had Josh Allen to score and rushing yards, which also hit. I don't know. Like I love how he runs, but it also sketches me out. Like if he does one of those runs and he gets fucking killed, this Bills team's done. Like I know like he hasn't yet, and he's kind of just been bullying guys, and he'll run when he wants to and just keep the ball in his hands, but that could bite him in the ass, like long term, for this Bills team if they're not able to, like, keep him healthy. So, and I also think Cook is a very valuable runner. I'm surprised they don't really get him more. I mean, he was one of their, if not their biggest piece of offense in the first half of the year. So, I don't know. I'm curious to see how they continue to play. Obviously, as we get later in the season, not every game matters. You're right. I do think this Lions team, they're tough not to root for. Like, how can you not want them to win? And even with Montgomery out, they're still able to put up 42 points. I am curious to see with the workload that Gibbs, I mean, obviously they split carries. I don't know how much it's going to impact him like for the remainder of the year. I also have no idea who their next backup is, so maybe they continue to try and split carries. But I don't know, great game, like you said, very entertaining. Even though, like you said, it wasn't close, like just points on the board nonstop, and you're seeing stars score. Tough not to like that. So those are kind of my takeaways on that game.
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure. Mikey's making a face. You didn't like this game?
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay. All right, we'll keep moving. Last game of the 4 o'clocks, or not last game. There's 5 games at 4 o'clock. Crazy concept. Bucks underdogs. We both took the Bucks in the 3. This was one of the more surprising results of the day overall. Just the beatdown that kind of occurred here. Panic level on the Chargers, or just kind of a hiccup. What do you think happened in this game?
I don't know how they are without J.K. Dobbins. I think he was a very vital part to that team. And the fact that they can't really rely on him to slow the game down. I also just think this Buccaneers team, they love being overlooked. Like, they like going in as dogs. And they played really well. They like the air raid. I don't necessarily understand how the Chargers gave up that many points, but maybe a little bit of a wake-up call. The Chargers got caught sleeping, and the Bucs were ready to rock and roll. But thankfully, I had the Bucs in this one. I like the Bucs. I think they're going to end up coming out of the division, even though I think they have a one-game lead over the Falcons, right, in the South?
Yeah, they do have a leg up, one game up.
So I like them. And even like with the home playoff win, like I could like I know it's tough. Like you're probably gonna be playing like either a Vikings or Packers team, but I mean, why not them? Home game. Baker's been playing his ass off. Now he's got Mike Evans back, who's scoring 2 touchdowns a game almost. I don't know. I mean, I was very surprised by the actual outcome, but I mean, it definitely like makes me like the Buccaneers moving forward.
Yeah, I love the Bucs. I think people are forgetting they're one of the only teams that beat the Lions early on in the season.
Yeah.
Mike Evans is a monster, and I think a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. The 3-headed monster they have at running backs kind of replaced the production you'd get from Godwin. Like instead of having a crazy pass offense, you now have this awesome running offense with Tucker, White, Irving. And yeah, they kind of just outdid the Chargers this game, like in all facets of the game. So I don't know if what this Chargers team is moving forward. Still have Herbert, who I like a lot, but I mentioned it on last week's pod. He kind of got hurt. And I still don't know if that's going to impact his play moving forward, but I'm hoping this Bucs team wins the division. I obviously don't want to see the Falcons in the playoffs. I don't know. I just would rather see the Bucs win the South, and I think they're a more fun team than the Falcons. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Bucs, what they can do. I think the Bucs have like a light work schedule. I think they have a semi-tough game this week, and then they play like the Panthers and somebody else easy in the last week. So the Saints.
No, they got Dallas. They got Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. Dallas. Yeah, that's like the semi whatever. But I think they have Saints, Panthers after that. So should be really wrap it up. Like win out, you're in the playoffs. So hoping to see that for the Bucs. Last game, battle for Pennsylvania, Eagles, Steelers. This Eagles team continues to be just a wagon. How many games in a row have they won? Like 10?
I think it was 10, yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And they still just have drama circulating around them like it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they just hate Nick Sirianni so much. Like, imagine winning 10 games in a row and just shitting on your head coach every fucking week. Like, I don't know. I kind of find it hilarious, but.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't think he's like one of the worst coaches in the NFL. Obviously, they've had success. Like, I think when's the last time they missed the playoffs? Like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Not even.
Wasn't he the head coach when they lost in the Super Bowl?
Yeah. I don't even know if they've ever even missed the playoffs and whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just Philly for you.
Yeah, exactly. Ungrateful pieces of shit.
From this, this is another impressive win for them.
Oh, there we go.
This is another impressive win for this Eagles, though. Steelers, I mean, have been a team that's been able to control at least, like, even if they lose, it's been a low-scoring game. I mean, the Eagles put up 27.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know where I'm at with the Steelers, but
I think I took the Steelers in this one. I don't know how much I'd take away from the Steelers. I know it's tough, like losing by 14 at home. That Eagles team's good. I think if anything, that proves more to me about the Eagles. I thought this was kind of a trap game, and this is where they might let up, and then shit really hits the fan. Like, I know they kind of like ended the year really like a lot earlier, but last year, like they kind of fell apart at the end of the season. I was like, hey, maybe this is the same team, even though they have Saquon, thinking at least Pittsburgh will cover. But I mean, they absolutely dominated that game. So kind of makes me like them for the remainder of the year going to the playoffs.
I mean, it's there. Are you ready to put them in the same conversation as the Lions? Do you think they're still a step below?
I think they might be above. Like the fact, like the Lions are banged up. Like, yeah, I think it depends on who's at home. Honestly, like, I don't know. Like, if you get the Lions out there in the cold weather in the snowy Philadelphia game in the playoffs, I can imagine the Eagles being favored in that game. So.
Did these teams play in the regular season or no?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I feel like we would have known about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at that tiebreaker potentially because they both have 2 losses at this point. But 3 weeks to go. Eagles looking like they'll have a top 2 seed in the NFC at least. So yeah. Sunday Night Football, Packers, Seahawks, kind of a snoozer. Obviously, Geno goes down late third quarter, but the Packers were up before that. They were up a couple of scores. Sam Howell, forgot he was in the league, so that was good to see. I liked Sam Howell last year. Like,
I too.
I thought he was a fun quarterback to watch, but he did not look great in his stint in this game. I missed like the first part of this game, but it seemed like
the Packers. What was the spread of this game?
Packers -3 on the road.
Yeah, I knew it seemed kind of short. I mean, I can't express how much I hate the NFC West more. Like, I think they're just so overrated. So when I saw that, I was like, automatic. And I've been very high on the Packers. So kind of hammered that. That was one of my bigger bets that I threw was Green Bay, at least money line. And they were almost in every parlay I had for like money line parlays. So I love that. And it wasn't really a sweat at all to end the night. So kind of comforting. But I like this Packers team. I mean, I've said it week after week. So continue to prove me correct.
Yeah, I think I like this. I somewhat like the Seahawks, but then without Geno, potentially, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe how with like a week of reps. I mean, you still have JSN at this point as the number 1 wide receiver. You still have DK, still have like a semi-competent version of Lockett. Walker's been banged up, hopefully, but Charbonnet's been a good backup. So I don't know. We'll have to see where they're at with a new quarterback. I think I'm not necessarily ruling them dead in any games. I don't think they're like an auto fade, but it'll definitely be different without Geno. And also in the future, like I don't know what they do at quarterback if they're getting rid of Geno or they want to get a young guy. I think they still need to answer that question. So we'll see.
How old is Geno?
When was he drafted, Mikey? Like 2013?
2013 or 12.
Yeah. So he's got to be like mid-30s, low 30s at the minimum.
He spent like the first like 8 years of his like there was like a 5-year span where he was not playing.
He was a backup, yeah. That's wild.
When he came in for Eli and everyone got pissed.
Yeah, because that was stupid. I remember how pissed my dad was with that. Because Eli had the longest streak of starting games, or he was like 2 games away from breaking the Giants' streak of games started in a row. And then they were just like, no.
They're like, no.
And they started Eli the week after. They literally benched him for a week and then started him for the rest of the year.
Giants football, baby.
Classic. Geno just turned 34 or 35, so yeah, it looks like the Tide.
So you don't know either. Thanks.
Well, that's pretty old either way. It looks like the Tide's going to turn on Geno. I think the Seahawks could be an interesting team for like a Jackson Dart or like a like one of those second round guys, you know, Jalen Milrow.
Nice.
I don't know.
He's going to be a Jet. Come on.
All right. You actually want him? All right. We can table that discussion.
All right.
Before we have to get to our doubleheader Monday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's. I think we can go through these kind of quick.
This one thought the coach boost would come over from last week. Thomas Brown taking over head coach boost. Nope. This Bears team is dead. This Bears team is dead. Caleb looks like a deer in the headlights. I'm not sure what could possibly be the problem here, but it's good. They have a lot to solve. Vikings continue to look good, and I'll let you take it away. I got to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're good. Mike, were you able to catch any of it or not?
I was. It's always good watching Sam play well.
Yeah, fair. Is it like bittersweet?
Comeback player of the year? No,
it's just
because the Jets did him wrong. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah. I like watching him play. He's very entertaining with this team. And I think that's also kind of Kevin O'Connell. Like, I think like every quarterback that's played there, he's made them look like not an all pro, but whatever the fuck they're like a pro bowler. Yeah. Like they look like a pro bowler.
Kirk now.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I think Sam, like he looks like a pretty thrower. Like his balls come out like fucking lasers. Yeah. And I don't know, like I just like this Vikings team, and I also just hate this Bears team too. Like I think it was like you saw both sides yesterday. I don't know, and I also just like Sam going in there with top weapons at every position. Like he has the best receiver in the league, arguably, either him or Jamar. Then you got Hawkinson, who's arguably one of the better tight ends in the league, and then Jordan Addison is coming to his own, kind of similar to the JSN type role that Dub obviously is a massive fan of. And then Aaron Jones has been absolutely crucial for them at the running back position. So it's like Sam Darnold is in a position to win football games, and he's taking advantage of it. I hope he re-signed as much as I like JJ McCarthy. I mean, maybe just give JJ another year to sit and let Sam cook. Like Sam looks like one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now.
It'll be interesting to see what he wants to do, because I would doubt he wants to sign a 1-year deal. And I doubt the Vikings want to give him a multi-year deal, especially. And for him, like having JJ sit behind him, like that's good for this year because he's hurt. But next year when he's healthy and he's like looking over his shoulder and lurking, like that's
fair.
Like tough for the psyche. So I feel like he's not going to be there next year, depending on how they actually feel about JJ in the building. But
franchise tag.
Where do we think he would go?
Seattle. The Jets.
New York.
The Jets, I think, is actually a good fit because like the Jets aren't like a rebuilding team.
That would be wild.
Yeah,
that would be hype for you. Actually,
bring the whole gang back. Bring our Darius Stewart back.
Bring in
Robbie Anderson. Come on,
Adam Gase as head coach.
Yeah, bring it. Let Adam Gase have a role. I think the Saints could be an interesting spot depending on what they do. I think it's gonna be one of those.
They don't have any money.
They never have any money. They were like negative 100 in cap, and all of a sudden you wake up on Tuesday and they're right under the cap. They have magic. Well, they just like defer every contract, but
I feel like the Saints are in for the long haul rebuild.
Yeah.
Fair.
I don't know where else you could go. I'm looking at the teams slowly.
Yeah, me too. The Giants,
maybe Seattle.
Titans. Giants just fucking blow everybody's mind and trade out.
No, they have such a high pick.
Get Sam.
Yeah.
What about the Titans giving him a bag?
I can see that.
I could see the Titans giving like
out of there.
Yeah, I could see the Titans
giving him
a massive bag.
Will Levis has been bad, but he's definitely shown some things here and there.
Stop.
You want to compare him to Sam Darnold right now?
No, but I feel like for that team, I don't know.
All right.
It's like a weird thing.
We hit all the teams.
We did? So he's going to the Jets is what you're saying?
Yeah. I think Jets, outside chance of like Saints, Seahawks,
he was born to be
Titans.
A Jet.
He was born to be a Jet.
I think the Jets is the best fit.
It's like one of the only teams that's like it's like a win now team who doesn't have a quarterback answer or probably a super high pick to get one of like the top couple guys.
That's all right,
what he's looking at. Draft Milroe?
To table this discussion, what would you rather have at quarterback next year? Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold?
That's easy. Come on, Mike.
Probably Sam, but it's definitely not that. Like they're pretty similar options. I feel like.
Nah, I feel like Sam comes with a lot less drama and pressure. I feel like with everybody, like all the hype around Aaron, I don't know. I feel like everybody expected the Jets to go to the Super Bowl in Aaron's first year coming off an ACL injury at 38.
He would have. He would have if he was healthy.
All right. Next game.
Last one, Falcons Raiders. The Falcons train. We got the bad end of this because this was at 4 when we were talking about it. But now I think it ended at 5.5, still wouldn't have covered, but Falcons scored one touchdown.
This was probably one of the worst games I've watched all year. I'm not gonna lie.
I tuned in just for the last drive. It was hype. Ritter leading the boys downfield. They had 2 like good chances to win the game. But yeah, the Falcons fade train continues. Mikey, in your absence, I've banned them, at least on my end. They've joined the Titans in the banned list. Raiders, I was telling you about Sincere McCormack. He got hurt. Cam was saying I was just pulling up random shit by pulling out Sincere McCormack, but whatever.
Whatever.
What was the line?
+4, Raiders +4.
I think we both took the Falcons, though.
No, I took the Raiders. Oh,
you did?
Yeah. I don't know. I think Aiden O'Connell actually might come back next week. So I think if there's a sweepstakes between Raiders and Giants, I think the Giants will win because I think the Raiders still might have just pull a win out of their ass game. But yeah, this was a terrible game. I just recently saw breaking news. Raheem Morris didn't want to confirm whether Kirk Cousins would be the starting quarterback next week. So
wow,
Michael Penix, come on down.
Wait, are they on bye or did I miss that?
No, there's no bye weeks.
No
They're
bye
playing.
Who the fuck are they playing?
Where is it? The Giants next week.
Oh, I do have that. Never mind.
They still have a chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean it's the divisional race. They have the tiebreaker over the Bucs. If the Bucs screw up and lose one of their last games, like the Falcons went out, I mean that's a simple way to get in. Or like things get muddy if both of them start losing. But
all right,
we can wrap that up. I mean, just kind of a boring game on Monday night.
Yeah, agreed.
We have
Mr. Areola.
Back from a couple weeks absence, he says Bryce Young over all of them. I'm not sure who all of them were because you're mostly just talking about Sam Darnold and Aaron Rodgers, but
Yeah, I
your
have a funny
take?
feeling
I mean,
Bryce
he's
Young-
right. He's right.
Dude, nah, I think this Panthers team might be. They might fuck up Bryce Young. Like, I think if Bryce Young gets I think next year the same thing might happen. He might get benched week 3 or 4, and then his career is just done. And then he waits 5 years like Geno and goes to a team that can actually support him, and maybe it'll be better. This Panthers team's just abysmal right now, and I think they will be for a very long time.
All right.
Shout out Panthers fans.
Is this another friend of yours, Daryl?
I do not know a Daryl.
All right. Well, he's in the building. Hi, Daryl. Welcome to the Dubcast. We have another comment from Irvin. He says, guy on the right, that's Mikey.
The guy who hasn't said a word.
He knows ball. He's right.
Fair.
All right. Ball knowers, no ball. That's simple. Okay, let's dive into week 16. We have some weird slates here. 1 Thursday night game, 2 Saturday night games, traditional Sunday, and then 1 Monday night game. Then we switch to week 16 on next Wednesday for the Christmas Day. So first game, our Thursday night game, taking place 2 nights from now, is Broncos at Chargers. Chargers -3. Michael, do you want to kick us off here and give us your takeaway from this game, or takes for this game? Sorry.
Sure. I think I'll take the Broncos in this one.
+3.
Yeah, +3. I mean, coming off a big win, Chargers coming off a decent sized loss. I feel like the Broncos have been playing super good ball, and Cam was saying before, without JK, the Chargers offense hasn't been great. And I don't know. It feels like I don't know. They've been saying in Bronco land that Bo Nix doesn't feel like a rookie quarterback, and you've seen that over the past 7 or 8 weeks, that he just controls games and he doesn't do stupid shit that he was doing in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the year. So I feel like I have more confidence in him leading the Broncos offense than the Chargers at this point without JK.
I'm going the other side. I kind of prefaced it a little bit. I don't know. This Denver team, I feel like they haven't really proven to me that they can beat teams that are playoff contending teams. I think I also give it a little bit of boost for the home team. I know it's not necessarily a very great home stadium. It's also a divisional matchup. And I think it's a get-right spot for the Chargers after getting absolutely blown out by the Bucks. And I also think it's a letdown spot for the Broncos after blowing out the Colts. I just feel like all of those things together. And there's not a hook. I think the fact that it's just 3 makes me feel like this Chargers team either wins by a field goal or more. So I'm going to go with them on Thursday night. Also kind of like the under. I don't know what it is. I think I might fucking bet the under on every primetime game for the rest of the year. All these primetime games are just so gross, and I just want to bet the under every single time. So
Bengals,
maybe
Chargers. A couple weeks ago, scored 60 points.
All right. Well, there's also 5 primetime games a week, and the majority of them fucking stink. So I'm going to go with the Chargers -3.
I'm also with you, Chargers -3. I think this is a bounce back spot, like you said. The Broncos, I think they're on too much of a high as well right now. I think they've kind of been beating up on lower level competition. I think this is a grinded out game, and I'm not sure if the Broncos have that running attack to grind it out. The Chargers have a good pass defense. I mean, the Broncos have really moved the ball through passing, so I think this is going to be a slower game. Prime time, as you mentioned, is not always the best avenue for the crazy passing game. So I'm taking the Chargers. I think they're also just a slightly better team. I like their defensive group better. I like their still running game better, even without J.K. Dobbins. But that's our Thursday night game. Before we move ahead to Saturday, more comments from the chat. Oh, wait, just screwed up. He said, Sunday night's game was badass. Edgerrin Cooper was fun to watch. He was all over the field. He made some plays on defense. He had draft steal for sure. I'm not familiar with Edgerrin Cooper. Anyone have any comments on that?
No. Does anybody know this guy, or do we got our first rando listener?
No.
I think it might be a bot. Packers come out with 17-point win over Seahawks, 30-13. Packers came out with a 17-point win over the Seahawks.
Are you a bot?
My view botters are in the chat. We'll keep it moving to Saturday night, first game of 2 is the Texans heading to the Chiefs, Arrowhead. This is an interesting spread.
I found him. Wait, hold on. Edgar and Cooper is on the Packers.
Oh, okay. So he is
He
a player.
had 7 tackles, 1 sack, 2 pass defenses, 2 QB hits. There you go.
Wow.
We don't know ball.
We
Guess
don't
we
know ball.
Sorry, Daryl.
Sorry, Daryl-san.
Anyways, this is a big game depending on what you think will happen with Mahomes' injury. Cam, do you want to jump us off here? Saturday afternoon pick here?
Yeah. It is kind of tough without knowing Patrick being in or not. I don't know if that also is impacting the line, like the fact that, like, hey, maybe the spread's even bigger with Patrick, like if he was playing, and I think it would be shorter if he wasn't. Just keep it simple. I'm just going to go with the Chiefs minus the 2.5 home team. I've kind of prefaced, I don't think this Texas team is built for very good playoff contending teams. And obviously the Chiefs are 2-time defending champs. I know Carson Wentz might be at the helm, but they just have enough like culture and team around them where I think they can actually win this game outright, even with Carson Wentz. And if they're going to do that, I think 2.5 is essentially a pick 'em. Not many games typically end in 1 or 2 point games. So if you're giving me the field goal, I'm going to take the Chiefs at home against the Texans.
I'm taking the opposite. I'm taking the Texans plus 2.5. I'd like it better if Mahomes obviously isn't playing, but even if he is playing, the short spreads, I mean, they haven't really covered spreads all year. I think Vegas is kind of just done with giving them like a 6.5 or 7 point because they always win by like 3-5 or 2-5. They think they beat the Chargers by 2 points, game-winning field goals all over. So I like this Texans team. They had a nice win last week. Coming into this game off a bye week, I think, so they're kind of refreshed. I know they're banged up as well mostly, but I think this is kind of a spot where the Chiefs may be looking ahead because they also have a game early next week. I think these same 4 teams actually on Saturday all play on Christmas, just switch matchups. But I like the Texans to win this game. I think it'll be one of those games. I think last year on Christmas or Christmas Eve, whatever it was, the Raiders beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs seem to kind of struggle with these prime time / like early in the week games. So I'll take the Texans. I think this will be a close battle, like 22-20, something like that. So I'm taking the Texans to cover the 2.5. Mikey, break this tie.
Yeah, I'm with you, Deb. I'm going to take the Texans. I'm nervous because I feel like Carson Wentz is going to do something if he does end up playing.
Out?
Yeah, that's
he obviously is going to.
What if he just throws for 5 touchdowns?
It's going to be like the Malik Willis game or 2 games of early in the season. Yeah, and I'm like not the biggest fan of the Texans, but I feel like they're always in close games. And if this is a close game with Carson Wentz at quarterback, I feel like the Texans can pull it out in the end. But if Pat plays, it will still be a close game because the Chiefs will win on a
tough field goal is what I was probably going to say.
The win on a black circle.
Yeah.
Someone's probably calling him.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get to some more comments coming out. So in the it was a correction from the last one. He said his bad on that. No worries, Daryl. A lot of players are banged up this season, not just one team. Yeah, I feel like with the Texans though, it's kind of like you can kind of like see injuries playing out.
I mean, it's like their 2 best weapons. Like it's kind of difficult. And I mean, even Mixon in the beginning of the year was banged up, and now he's like healthier. But I don't know. There's definitely certain teams that like you look at it. The Lions have had like I think it's like 5 of their top like 10 salaried players got hurt, like basically done for the year. Like that's very difficult to replace. One of them being your stud like pass rusher and your stud running back, 2 of the most premier positions. So I don't really understand how you can compare that to some of the other teams, but
it also seems like Stroud might just be hurt, like watching him play. I don't know. It seems like kind of
I don't know. Yeah, I was just gonna say he doesn't look like himself from last year. I don't know if it's like health wise or not, but
all right. Well, Mikey's loading back in. We can wait for him. Daryl thinks it might be a close one. I agree. I think this will be a really interesting game. I'm excited for both these primetime games. Greg Small is back in the chat. He says, wow, pack show today. I'm assuming he means Pacta. Mikey's joined on 2 accounts. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Wow, hype. Got
All
the
right.
light on.
Heading to the next game of the night, we have the Steelers interdivisional matchup, AFC North matchup rematch from earlier in the season. We have the Steelers taking on the Ravens. Cam, why don't you jump off on this one? Ravens get the 6 at home.
Yeah, this is tough for me. Seeing how the Pittsburgh Steelers actually won this game last time makes me want to take the Ravens. I just feel like 6 is too much. Primetime game. I know it's on the road, but 6 seems like a lot for a divisional matchup. I don't know. This game was probably the toughest one for me to pick because I feel like the Ravens are going to win, but by a field goal, maybe. So I just like the Pittsburgh Steelers also coming off of that tough loss. I think they kind of need a bounce back game. I know it's a short week, but I don't know. I'm going to go with the Steelers plus the points. These two teams know how to play against each other. They have very closely for the past 20 years, and they've both been doing it very competitively. So I'm just going to go with the dog in this one plus the 6.
I'm taking the opposite. I'm taking the Ravens. For one reason, I think looking back in the last game they played, the Steelers kind of shut down the Ravens and just kind of embarrassed them in Pittsburgh. So now you have the home field flipped. I think the Ravens can win this game by at least a touchdown. I think they've got that game in the back of their minds. Ravens also need to start winning. The Ravens, like, this game means a lot for their division chances as well, because with the Steelers loss last week, I think they're within one game of that. So I like the Steelers. I mean, I like the Ravens to cover. I do like your logic of the Steelers coming off a bounce back, but I'm kind of losing faith slowly in the Steelers.
Yeah.
Like, every time I'm
this was my least favorite game to pick, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping for a good game, but we'll see.
Every time like the Steelers start to gain momentum in my head, they just kind of let me down. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. I like the Ravens a lot still, so I'm going to take the Ravens -6. Mikey, your take on this game to break the tie once again?
I don't know if either of you have watched any of the NFC or AFC North hard knocks.
I have. Yeah, kind of hype.
Kind of hype.
I refuse to watch that, but go ahead.
Yeah. I also haven't watched it, but I've seen clips of it, and it looks pretty lit. But anyways, this being a AFC North matchup, it feels like it's going to be a close game, like it always is. 6 is a lot. The Ravens can beat any team in the league by more than 6, probably. But I feel like when it's an AFC North opponent, they played each other a lot, always play each other a lot, always play each other close, and I'm going with the Steelers here.
All right. I'm the lone man on the Ravens. I keep mixing it up for some reason. So more comments from the chat. Another close game, I guess, between Steelers and Ravens. Yeah, I think both these Saturday games are really interesting. I think it could be a really good day of football, factor in college football happening as well. So Saturday's all footballed out. Lamar Jackson is playing decent this year. Yeah, he's top in the MVP race. Excited to see what he can do against the Steelers defense. Hopefully he can expose them, just for my pick's sake. Greg Small, why did we pick Pats over Cards again last week? You can read the jersey. We're Patriots fans.
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, I got a
hope.
Pats shirt on too, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know what that shirt is.
It's a National Fan Club shirt.
Yeah, so that's the reason why. I mean, we've also been harping on how the Cardinals are kind of inconsistent.
Yep.
I mean, last week I have a take for the Cardinals game this week, so I'll save it for that. But I think there's a common trend with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
My younger brother's a Ravens fan. Not a bad life. You know, there's a lot of worse fandoms to be a part of. Jets. Greg Small is fighting with our commenters. He says, well, he sucks then. #go Giants. Derrick Henry is a beast on running with the ball. Indeed. Okay, next game. Another AFC North. We're on to Sunday now. We have the Browns heading to the Bengals, -7.5. Mikey, you want to jump us out here? Do you like this 7.5, or is that too much and you're with Jameis?
Are we with Jameis, or are we with DTR?
With Jameis /DTR/ potential unknown.
Third party candidate. I think I will take the Bengals here. I want to say that Jameis will play the last 3 weeks of the year, but
Browns to start DTR 5 hours ago.
Oh, yep. Give me the Bengals -1,000.
More now, because DTR is, I don't know what he is. I don't think anybody knows what he is, and he's been in the league for what, 3 or 4 years now? 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
But
this kind of reeks of the same thing that the Saints did last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could
No.
easily see DTR either getting hurt or pulled, and Jameis comes back and takes this team to a victory. That would be fucking electric. But I'm going with Mikey. Give me the Bengals minus 7.5. I think they got an easy stretch of games, and like you said, Dub earlier, I think they are like a little bit more motivated to like, hey, like we have to win out even just to have a chance. And when you're playing shit teams like the Browns and the Cowboys most weeks, I'm gonna take. I know it's tough with the 7.5 with the hook, but I don't know. I can see the Bengals win by like 25, honestly. This Browns team, we have no idea what they are with DTR. I know we caught a little bit of a glimpse last week, but I don't know. They haven't really impressed me that much. So I'm going with the Bengals.
Yep, I'll make it a clean sweep. I don't love like the Browns with DTR. I think DTR is not really like meant to be in the. And I think this is only his second year because I think last year he started as a rookie, but I could be wrong on that. Maybe it was 2 years ago. But feels like DTR is not really like an NFL quarterback. He could be like a solid backup maybe, but there's just a bunch of games where he's played where they've just gotten blown out. So I like the Bengals to cover this 7.5. I think this could be a spike game for whatever Burrow was pissed off about last week.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Bengals.
Why would they bench like their one like thing that's giving
It's
them
too
life?
many. It's too many picks. Like it's too many turnovers. That's
Dude,
the
but
problem.
I
DTR plays like they're so opposite because I think DTR plays so safe where like he's not going to make any risks at all, but he's not going to get any yards. Where Jameis is like
yeah.
just throwing a
I'm
million.
gonna fucking huck this thing around the yard, which is
Yeah.
electrifying. Like, and I think like the people on the team, like I know they jokingly, it seems like they kind of mock him. Like if you watch the AFC North thing, you can kind of see it. It's like
All right.
you see him giving his pregame speeches or whatever, and it's like ha ha ha, like whatever. But it is kind of like more like I think they have more fun and play better football with him on the field. But I don't know if you just want to play conservative and maybe get blown out by the Bengals 35-0. Go ahead, start DTR.
Here's an interesting one. We can just go quickly. Do you think Stefanski gets fired?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yes. And I don't know who the fuck wants that bank or that Browns job.
Every single team in the league looking for a coach, he would be their number one hire.
That's true.
If he
Stefanski to the Jets?
If that happens, I a million times for it.
All right, more comments. Daryl, Giants suck. LOL. We're about to cover the Giants game. Bengals by a big margin. Yep, we're all in agreement with that. Greg's having a moment of reflection. As the Dubcast grows, will you guys forget about me? I'm still
Most
pulling
likely.
up the chat. Yeah, but if there's a million chats, maybe
Yeah.
we'll only pull up the loyal viewers. No, I'm just kidding. We'll never forget about you. I'll never forget my original first followers. If I ever make it big, you guys will mean the world to me, always. Joe B and Jay Chase are good QB wide receiver duos, both LSU products, yes. How are there 3 weeks left? That's crazy. I'm happy, though. This year was shitty. Yeah, this year, looking back on it, like, what's the memorable moments from this year? Because I was watching, like, a Madden 11 hype intro. It's, like, the Breeze one where, like, you had the Patriots go for it on 4th and 2. You had, like, Vince Young with that last second touchdown.
We haven't even gotten to the most entertaining part of the year, though. Like, how can you say that?
That's true, but like, I don't know. I feel like
we're getting to the most hype part of the year. Like, dude, we're gonna have football almost every fucking night. Like, we got football.
I think it's oversaturated. Hot take.
I love it. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Maybe I
Monday,
should stop caring that much.
Wednesday. No, you just gotta care more.
Wednesday
next week there will be games.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
All right, speak of the devil. Giants 10-point underdogs heading to the Falcons.
Oh, yeah, 10.
I'll start this one off. My picks are automatic. Unfortunately, the Giants have not been banned, so I'm taking them plus 10. I think this leans either way. You want to start the quarterback. If it's Penix, he's not going to get out to like every rookie quarterback kind of has that first start where it's not like even if the Falcons win this game under Penix, it's not going to be like a crazy win. I think it'll be a couple like 17-13 type win. If it's Kirk looked like shit against one of the worst teams in the NFL last week. He's threw 4 picks against the Vikings. I'm taking the Giants plus 10. Maybe it will be a huge regret of mine and they lose by 40, but I'm a man.
Who's the quarterback for the Giants going into this week?
Don't care. If it's give me DeVito, give me Tim Boyle, who I've noted as like one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history. I like the Giants to cover the spread. You still have Malik. Shout out Tyrone Tracy. He's having a solid year. I'll take the Giants plus 10 on the road in hot Atlanta.
Yeah, give me the Falcons, please. This is a bounce back spot. They've been getting shit talked. They've been getting shit talked for the past couple of weeks now. I think this is an absolute definition of get right spot at home. Playing one of the worst teams in the league. I think either Kirk, I think Kirk's starting, and I think he actually balls out, and then they just put that Penix situation to bed. If they do end up going with Penix, maybe he just has an electrifying game. Like, this Giants defense isn't anything to be like too proud about. So I would feel comfortable with either of them. I know the 10's a lot, but this Giants team is just, I don't know. They're a borderline ban list for me. You can't see me betting on them too often.
Mikey, tie break once again.
I'm gonna take the Giants here. They could be starting Malik Neighbors at quarterback, and
I'd actually have more faith if they did that. I would hammer the Giants plus 10 if they were starting Malik. Go ahead, sorry.
Did they say? What do you say about them starting Penix? That they wouldn't say whether or not Kirk was starting?
Yeah, it was kind of like a maybe Penix is starting type situation.
I don't know. They seem like they have like good weapons over there, made good people and whatever. But I feel like when that sort of situation happens, like it leaks into the locker room and the guys start being like, "What are we doing here? We still got a chance to make the playoffs. Why are we still starting Kirk, who's been terrible for 4 weeks straight or 5 weeks now?" If they start Penix, then I feel like I'd pick the Falcons. And if they start Kirk, I'm taking the Giants.
All right. I'll allow that.
I've done that before, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Tommy DeVito had a concussion Sunday, so it's really going to be either Drew or Tim.
Tim Boyle.
Greg didn't want to hear about his own team. Fuck, don't talk about this, please. Sorry, we have to cover every game legally. They're going to have Saturday games as well, maybe pushing for postseason Saturday games as well, pushing for postseason. Yeah, they've kind of done that.
Yeah, Super Wild Card Weekend, you fucking clown.
All right. Drew Cock. Yes, that's my name for Drew Lock. All right. We can speed run this one. Mikey, you want to lead us off on this? I mean, depending on if you think the Cardinals are dead or not, but the Cardinals heading to Carolina. Cam, boots on the ground game?
Potentially. I'm flying home Friday. Fuck.
Right.
Yeah, but this is absolutely, I might hammer the Panthers plus 4.5. Both get right spots for both teams. Cardinals coming off a way too much big win against the Patriots team that's obviously been abysmal the entire year. Very inconsistent, very much 1 week off, 1 week on. Going on the road to a Panther team that just got their doors blown off for the first time when they were favored. They're back to their normal comfort underdogs. 4.5 is a lot of points. Give me the Panthers plus 4.5 every single day of the week.
All right. Michael?
Yeah, I agree. Wholeheartedly. I'm a Panther.
Fuck the Cardinals. Cardinals are on my ban list. Book it right now.
All right. I respect the ban list.
Panthers are my second favorite team in the league.
Respect.
Yeah, that's all.
I'll play spoiler. I'm taking the Cardinals. I did an analysis of the Cardinals' schedule, and I realized every time they play somebody halfway good, they lose by a lot. And every time they play somebody who's one of the lower teams in the NFL, they just destroy them. Saying that trend continues here. I think they show up to Carolina and win this game.
Oh, you're calling Panthers halfway?
Whoa!
The Panthers have 3 wins. Why are we all of a sudden pretending like there's some sort I love Bryce Young, and I think I said before, Bryce Young and Mac Jones will play in a Super Bowl. Like, I don't know how many times I have to speak that into existence. It's going to happen. But the Panthers are not a good football team. They have 3 wins. They're going to lined up like the 5th pick in the draft. Who have the Panthers beat? I can't even remember.
I know. No, but it's funny though because the Panthers fans here, like Mr. Areola that joined earlier with the comment, he actually thinks that they're the best 3-win team in NFL history.
I mean, in NFL history, that's crazy. But
he was hyping them up crazy.
You can make an argument for the best 3-win team in the league right now. Like, I'm okay with that. But
the Pats would beat the fucking shit out of the Panthers.
I don't know. Depends on where you play that game, and even if it's in New England, I don't know. But I don't know. I think the Panthers were kind of too high on them, and I like that Bryce Young's played better. Honestly, I hope the Panthers win this game outright, but I'm just not. I'm not
also
enough.
Chuba to score didn't score last week. Not in my focus 5. I'm saying it now because I'm probably just gonna do that separate. Love Chuba to score this week. Maybe even the Panthers sprinkle money line in a parlay.
All right. Greg Smalls on his way out has dinner. See you all. Great show. Thank you for your compliments. Thank you for being here. The previously mentioned, he says, guy in the middle knows ball. First time complimenting Cam on the pod, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say, after I just absolutely roasted him, I don't know. That was kind of nice of him.
Yeah, this was like pre-thing.
Oh, that was pre-rant? Tough.
Yeah. There's a bunch of teams in the hunt. Few are playing their last games. Yeah. He's having a ball on here. LOL. Yeah, we're having a great time. It's a Dubcast weekly live show.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Keeping it moving. Lions Bears divisional matchup. NFC North. Since I picked last time, I'll lead this one out. I like the Lions. Easy hammer. I'm done with the Bears. Tried them last 2 weeks, and this could have come back to bite me, but I don't know. I think the Bears are joining that group of teams that are just really bad at football, and the Vegas likes them for some reason, and like there's just a disconnect there. I think that the Lions could win this game by 21 points. I think they're going to try and prove that they're still great and still good without the injuries, and that there's something to be worried about. They still have they're now playing for the 1 seed very closely with the Eagles. So I like the Lions to win this game. I wouldn't say it's a must win, but you'd really like to have this one lay up interdivision, worst team in the division. So I like the Lions to cover the spread. Cam, you're agreeing?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it all. I also saw a graphic earlier today. I forget if they played both the Lions played both the Vikings and the Packers to finish out the year for the last 2 weeks. I know they play one of them. They definitely have like one of the more tougher roads to the end of the year, which kind of, and one of them's a divisional opponent, which they could probably potentially leapfrog them to get the maybe number 1 seed, depending upon what the Eagles do, obviously too. But you're right. I think this is kind of a must-win game. Like especially when you have like a massive next 2 weeks going into the playoffs. And this is a team that, like you said, they just like look disgusting at football. They don't even belong in the same conversation as the Lions. So I'm gonna go with the Lions minus 6.5. I love the hook there, keeping it below 7. So give me the Lions on that.
I have a feeling that's not going to be the same spread come Sunday, but
yeah, I agree. You might need to hammer that a little bit earlier if you actually want it at 6.5.
Michael.
Yep, I agree with both of you. Bears are a bad football team. Lions are a good football team. They'll win by a lot. The end.
Simple. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it.
More comments from the crowd. Post rant guy in the middle knows no ball. Quickly revoked status there. Thumbs up from Daryl. Appreciate you. The Lions are still going to blow out the Bears. It's very obvious. LOL. The Bears still suck. LOL. Yeah, they're not good. Interdivisional matchup. Semi-meaningless game. Titans Colts. Do I have to do a 3 or can I do a 3, 2, 1 countdown, or is somebody gonna Michael? You're gonna oppose?
Don't. Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Colts. Yeah, book it.
Coming off a loss. They're still going to try.
Titans are the worst team in the NFL to bet against.
The Colts are going to pretend they're still in the playoff picture and just destroy the Colts at home. Yeah. This one's pretty easy for me, even with the 3.5.
Yeah.
Colts. Daryl agrees. Okay. Rams, Jets. Mikey, Jets. This is an interesting one. Vegas, once again, trusting the Jets, giving them 3 points at home. Feel like this could be a little wider, but I feel like they also don't trust the Rams to like win games by that much. So, do you want to hear the crowd's opinion, or do you want to go first?
Let's hear it.
He always likes to hear the crowd. Cam, give it your best shot.
Yeah,
you're not a big fan of the Rams team or the Jets.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like my second least favorite game behind one of the better games of the week in Pittsburgh and Baltimore. This one was gross. I definitely think that the Rams are a better team, even though I've hated on the NFC West. I don't know. I just feel like the Jets winning last week doesn't really necessarily mean that they're going to go on a run to end the year. But as much as I'd like to see the Jets just completely destroy their future and win out and then just get a mediocre pick and never do anything with it, I think I'm going to go with the Rams here minus the 3. Their offense has looked pretty good. I know last week they didn't score a lot of points. That was mainly due to weather. And it's also a divisional matchup. I think the Rams, even though it's West Coast going to East Coast, I think the Rams definitely put up a lot more points than they did last week. And I think the Jets kind of fall off, even though they did win. I mean, you also got to remind yourself that they did play against the Jaguars and their backup quarterback. So give me the Rams minus 3 as they try and make a playoff push here.
Yep, I'm with you. Rams minus 3. This, like I mentioned before, this feels like it could be a 4.5, 5.5 game. So the 3, I feel like, is a little bit of a cushion there. I'm biased. I've liked this Rams team all year, so I'm going to continue on that train. I've kind of been fading the Jets up until last week where I took them. I feel like that was kind of their spot to peak their head up, get that win that they needed to like have confidence in whatever they did this year, whatever you want to call this year. But I think that's about it, though. I mean, I haven't looked at the rest of their schedule. They may have more favorable games in the future, but I think the Rams win this one by a couple of scores, maybe like It could be like a 6-point game, but I just don't see the world where the Jets pull
I
this
can
off.
see them winning. I think it's either the Rams win by like 14 or the Jets win. Like, I don't know. I can't see it being a close game and the Rams squeak
No, I
it
think
out.
it could be a close game where the Rams win. Michael, every time you pick against the Jets, they win, right? Or is that's the trend? Or every time you pick for them, they lose? Well, either way.
I think it's both.
Yeah. I just said the same thing in 2 different ways.
Yeah.
But go for it. What's your analysis on this one?
Hard thing is that if I pick the Rams, then the Jets will win. But if I pick the Jets, then I don't know. It's bad. I think I'm gonna pick the Rams, mostly because
I switched my pick.
Not been good, and they're bad. Jets are bad. East Coast or West Coast to East Coast does make it a little bit tougher. I feel like when the Rams play the Jets, like it's usually a close game. The last time they played, I'm pretty sure the last time they played was the game that the Jets won to make them not get Trevor Lawrence in that draft.
Tough. So 4 years ago.
It makes sense. I mean, you play every division.
Yeah. So that could happen again. Maybe the same thing happens. They win this game and then lose out on a pick. So you know what? I'm gonna switch my pick and go with the Jets because of that logic.
I love that. Thank you, Mikey.
Love it. The West Coast, East Coast thing, Rams did play on Thursday night. Don't know how that affects the travel.
Yeah.
Daryl also picking the Rams. He says Aaron Rodgers is getting old. LOL. Michael.
He is 41, and he is.
So that's just more of an objective statement. I don't think we need an opinion on it.
Give me your take on Aaron Rodgers getting old.
Being the oldest quarterback in the league. Oh, well, he is.
Like, definitely he was hurt. He definitely, like, this week he played a lot better. He looked more mobile than he did earlier in the year. So I'll give him that.
He makes it too obvious to pass down the field.
He doesn't.
Okay.
Field.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
He's like for the past like 2 or 3 years, he's been like a flat route, slant route.
Never check down king. Another divisional matchup. I didn't realize how many divisional matchups there were this week, but Eagles heading to Washington. I think we saw this matchup play out before. Eagles got the win by I think it was like a semi-close game. I can't remember the final score of that one. Michael, we'll cut back to you. Your take on Commanders getting 3.5 at home versus the high-seeded Eagles, only with 2 losses on the year.
I'm going to take the Eagles because I don't like them, and I feel like if I pick them now, then they'll lose their winning streak. In the long
run,
going
voodoo.
In the long run, I'd rather have them lose than me win.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'm taking the opposite. I'm taking the Commanders plus 3.5. I think the logic isn't really there, which is why I'm taking them. Come off that close win last week, should have won that game by a lot. I mean, bye week before that, also if the Commanders are going to be any good, I feel like I'm always kind of questioning whether the Commanders are going to be a legit team or not. You need to win this game. I've also been kind of waiting on the Eagles to lose the game, so I should continually pick against them. Maybe that's a mistake, and I've probably missed out on a lot of picks just picking against the Eagles this year. But I think I said it before. I think this is all building towards a collapse in classic Philadelphia/Eagles fashion. I don't know if this happens this week or it happens the week of the NFC Championship game, even the week of the Super Bowl. Something bad is going to happen with that team with Sirianni, just the way things have been trending. So give me the Commanders plus 3.5. Hopefully Jaden can keep it close. I feel like I haven't heard much about the Commanders, even when they've been playing. It seems like they've been kind of like a low-key team in the past couple of weeks, but I like them to cover the spread. Honestly, this is looking like one of the better games of the day. So hopefully this is an interesting one for the viewers because there's not really much else left for us on the Sunday slate. Cam, your turn to break the tie.
Yeah, I'm actually going the opposite side of you. I'm going with Mikey and the Eagles for a little bit different reasons. I think this Eagles team, I think we kind of talked about it recapping week, what was it, 15? They look like a football team. Like this Commanders team, we've talked about it ad nauseum. Like, sure, they can win games, but it's been against those teams that they should be beating. And this Eagles team is beating not just the teams they should be beating, but they're beating every team in the league almost. They're on a 10-game winning streak. I know it's a divisional matchup. The 3.5 with the hook's a little bit more difficult, but I also just think that this team's better. I'm not going to overthink it. And I think there's less drama, which actually might be worse for them. But I feel like there's less drama going into this week than previous weeks. I know he had that little Sirianni had that little scuffle with Jalen Carter on the sideline and the defensive line coach, but didn't really come out to anything. I don't know. I think this Eagles team is definitely like trying to prepare for a run to actually take over this one seed. I think the Lions are banged up, and the Lions are also playing either. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they're playing at least. They're definitely playing one of either the Vikings or the Packers, maybe even both.
So I looked at the
ending the
Lions
year.
schedule. The Lions are playing the 49ers next week on Sunday Night Football, and then they play the Vikings last week. I'm not sure where exactly that game is, but
So that can potentially, like, the Vikings might take over that division, never mind the conference, if they win that game. Like, and that leaves the Eagles an opportunity to take over the one seed. If I believe, I don't know the exact how it would make up depending upon their records and everything, but Eagles have a shot at this one seed, and I think they're trying to get that. I mean, home field advantages and the bye is obviously very important going into the playoffs. So I like the Eagles minus 3.5 here.
All right, keep it moving. The aforementioned Vikings get 3 points on the road heading to Seattle. Same spread as last week where the Packers headed to there on Sunday Night Football. Is anything changing for you in this one, Cam, or are you taking the Vikings -3?
Same exact thing. This might be one of my favorite bets of the week. Give me Minnesota -3. Don't want to say anything more than that.
Michael, you're nodding your head in agreement?
I'm nodding my head in agreement. Who's starting for the Seahawks?
We don't know. That's what I'm also taking the
I
Vikings.
don't give a fuck if it's Gino.
I think this is a really good spot to hammer early in the week. I think the spread just goes up as time goes on. Like this question of the status of Gino becomes more questionable. Sorry to cut you off, Mikey, if you had anything else you wanted to add.
No, that's it.
All right. Well, yeah, I think this is pretty simple for us. I think this could potentially be one we look back on as just a trap, but I mean, you're not really going to predict that from
I might do it like legit after this call. Like, not gonna lie.
I think it's a good bet to make.
Yeah.
Missed comments here. Tough one. Commanders playing good as well. Jane Daniels has made plays. Yeah, he looked pretty
They're
good.
also not the Commanders. I don't know why we keep calling them that. They're the Redskins.
That pass to McLaurin from Daniels was mind-blowing. Yeah, I saw this replay, I think, at least 1,000 times on Sunday because they just kept showing that, but it's a pretty good pass. There's a bug. Vikings, yeah, all on that train as well. Now for the hometown team, Patriots get 14 points on the road in Buffalo. Cam, will you continue your streak of picking against whoever the Patriots play and picking the Patriots and backing
Ride
them
or die? Yeah, give me the pass plus 14. Too big of a spread, divisional opponent. I think the Bills are kind of due for a little bit of a slower game after having back-to-back performances of Josh Allen absolutely carrying and running the ball. I think the Pats make that a point of emphasis to stop, and they make James Cook at least run. And maybe I think that slows the game down a little bit. 14 seems like a lot. I know this Patriots team hasn't looked great, but divisional opponent, Patriots typically play the Bills kind of tough. Other than that playoff game with Mac Jones' rookie year, that was an absolute blowout and depressing. But I don't know. I don't know. These big spreads, I'm kind of like Dub. Whenever I see these spreads, I usually lean towards the underdog, and obviously the Patriots. I'm not going to bet against the Patriots. So take my pick with a little bit of a biased opinion. Wouldn't necessarily follow it as much, but I'll be on the Pats.
Michael?
Yep, I'm going to not pick with the Pats here.
Tough.
I'm going to take the Bills. It's basically a top 3 team against bottom 3 team.
Don't be disrespectful now.
Yeah, I was going to say, watch your mouth.
I don't think
we're a bottom 5 team.
I think all I said was logical and true. Anyway,
it is, yeah.
I think the Bills, like you've been saying, they've had 2 super good offensive weeks in a row. The defense has been playing okay. They did just give up a shit ton of points to the Lions, but Lions are one of the best offenses in the league. And the Patriots are not one of the best offenses in the league. So I think the Bills will be able to continue their high-scoring offense and also be able to get back to holding teams to more than 14 less points than them.
Do we have a weather update on what's going to be in Buffalo? I thought there was snow on the ground at least already up north, but I'm obviously not there.
I can check at the moment. As for my pick, I'm unfortunately going to fade the boys. I'm fading the Patriots. I'm taking the Bills. Listen, I'm not always a back the Patriots guy. I know where my heart stands with my head. I've really only bet on the Patriots one time this season. It was the first game of the year when they get 8.5 points on the road
I did
or
that
at
too.
home. That was the only time I've ever bet
I
on the
hammered
Patriots
money
game.
line. That was one of my best days of my entire life, actually.
Um,
Jacoby.
So the weather, it says 17 degrees, but it says sunny on Sunday. So maybe that snow will melt if there is snow. I feel like we're turning into what the Bills were to us with them. They've kind of just owned us over the past couple of years. I think the best thing you can hope for this game is that Drake May keeps it close. The offense keeps it close in the first half. I don't really see that happening though, just the way things have played out. I mean, you're getting blown out by the Cardinals off a bye week. You're getting blown out by like these random 14 points is a lot, and I usually like to fade the 14, but it's like when I envisioned the Bills playing the Patriots in the past couple of years, it's like just a Bills slaughter. I mean, Mac had that one legacy game last year where that was like his best game of his career. Yeah. No. When he actually played like fucking insane last year and won. But I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if we're going to look to beat the Bills, it's going to be at home, kind of play spoiler in the playoff picture. I don't think it's going to be this week. I think they just hammer away at us. Although there is like some momentum stuff in there, but I'm just not even going to address it because I feel like this is pretty cut and dry. Bills might win. But I think this could be like a 31-17 type of situation, 34-17.
That's a push. That's a push. I'll take it.
We'll see. Darrow's taking the Bills. He says, sorry, Pats. Bills are better. Obviously, Buffalo Bills are no slouchers for sure. Yep. Playoff or MVP. Josh Allen playing good football lately. Yep. Okay, meaningless game. We can kind of simulate week on this one. We have the Jags heading to Las Vegas. Cam, you want it?
Give me Mac every day of the week. As much as I want the Raiders to win and hopefully potentially blow that number 1 overall draft choice that they could get, I don't know. I'm going to get Mac Jones every day. I'm going to back my boy, especially against probably the worst team in the league. So if I'm betting money on it, I'm going to go with the Jags.
Michael?
If I'm betting money on it, I'm going to bet money on the Raiders because they win random games.
That's good for the Pats.
And maybe this isn't a game that they should win because the Jaguars are coming off a game where they scored a lot of points and Mac looked pretty good. I don't know. Who's the starting quarterback for the Raiders this week? AOC or Red?
I think I saw today AOC is coming back. Not sure if he's going to start.
Quarterback.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders.
The Raiders without a known quarterback. Bold over Mac.
I'm taking the Raiders
disrespect.
I'm taking the Raiders too. Sorry, Mac. I think Mac has had a trend in the past couple of years. He has a good game, and then he has 3 really bad games. Don't care if it's against the Raiders. I think the Raiders will blow that draft opportunity, but I think the Giants could also be winning this week as well, so it could get really interesting. But
all right, just because they're playing your band team doesn't mean they're expected to win.
Just throwing it out there now. But this is a pick 'em, 2 really shitty teams. I think the Jags got their win a couple weeks ago. I think the Raiders are due for kind of a sneaky win where no one thought they were going to win, so I'm taking the Raiders. But this is probably my least favorite game to pick just because they're both awful. Yeah. Next one, another pick 'em. We have 49ers Dolphins. Starting this one out, usually I'm changing my ways. Usually I would pick the 49ers pretty easily here because I believe in them, but I've lost all belief. I've lost all hope in the 49ers. I think the season's dead for them. Plus, you go in the hot weather of Miami, where Miami's used to that weather. They're kind of that team that's been proven to be good at home with like a different weather change. So I like the Dolphins to win this, although it's not necessarily cold in San Francisco, but I'm taking the Dolphins at home. Feels like they have a lot to answer for after last week. 49er season is pretty much dead at this point in my head. So I'm thinking the Dolphins are just a better cohesive team at this point. Like, it's crazy to say out loud, but they've just been better this year. So I'm taking the Dolphins. I'm keeping it simple for that one. Cam?
I don't have much to add. You said it perfectly. Honestly, I don't really trust either of these teams, but if I had to pick one, I'm going Miami, especially at home. Basically, to pick them. And like you said, their offense actually looked pretty decent. Just depending upon how. I'm just surprised. Is Waddle expected to play or no?
Yeah, well, not to get too deep into fantasy, but I have him in one of my teams. He's projected to get points. Not sure what that means. I didn't see a status update on him, but
okay. I mean, that doesn't necessarily impact my decision a lot, honestly. I think this Miami team is just, like you said, more of a cohesive unit, and I would much rather bet on them winning. I mean, it's like you said, to pick them. I'll take the home team, especially in Florida heat, as opposed to that dry heat out in the West. Like you said, West Coast to East Coast. What is this, 425 kick, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, still, I don't know. I'm going with Miami.
Mikey, will you do your brother's bidding and take the 49ers? He needs a couple more wins for that division. I think they need to win out.
They probably do need to win out. Yeah, I guess I'll take the 49ers for Mark.
Respect.
I like it. When you're
All right. Well, they both left the stream, so now I'm here alone. Looks like Mikey was going to take the 49ers. So 2 on the Dolphins, 1 on the 49ers. He's back with a white screen. What happened?
I pressed leave accidentally.
Okay.
I was checking the chat.
What chat?
The chat.
Oh, my bad.
49ers, I did not want, like, I didn't have a thought on who I would pick for this game because both teams are, like, basically maybe can sneak into the 7th seed, and both of them are looking more down than they are up, honestly. So I guess I'll just take the 49ers because Mark wants them to win the division for money.
All right, breaking news live on the podcast half an hour ago. You can tell me if this is not really breaking news. Teddy Bridgewater plans to come out of retirement and make a return to the NFL after coaching his high school alma mater to a state title. Jets?
He was a Jet for one offseason.
Any thoughts on that, or kind of a nothing?
I saw that notification. I wasn't sure if we're going to bring it up. It's more of now, who cares to me.
Yeah.
But
interested to see where he lands, see if he gets back in.
He's like right now or like this offseason?
Either one. I don't know if he's coming back now or he's coming back for next season. He's only drafted a year after Geno, so he's probably got 1 to 2 more years left in him as well. Sunday Night Football, which I was really confused looking at this. Why did this not get flexed? We couldn't put Eagles Commanders. Well, I feel like DC's never really had a Sunday night game. I think they actually got the week. I think they have the week after this one, but some better games on the board. I think with more intrigue than this, but America loves Dallas. So we have the Cowboys on prime time once again. They get 4 points at home with a visiting hot Bucks team. Michael, we'll start with you here. What is your pick for this game? Bucks at Cowboys.
Baker Mayfield will win this game by a lot of points. Cowboys got their fake win against the Panthers, and yeah, basically, like, they're still not good. They beat the Panthers. We love the Panthers here, but they're
this is the Panthers. This is a pro Panthers podcast.
It is. I do like the Panthers. Yeah. I like Bryce Young, but
yeah, Bucks they're not in wagon territory because, like, they're hit and miss sometimes, but they're definitely a lot better of a football team overall than the Cowboys. They're just like an easier pick for me. And the Cowboys, like, their home field is nothing. So
4 doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't know if you guys saw that and were surprised by that. I mean,
it's just like it's supposed to be like a trap line to make you think like what's going on.
I know.
Also prime time.
Like, you think about it, like, I know it's half of a point, but Philly going into Washington on the road is the same as Tampa Bay going into Dallas, essentially. It's half a point difference. Doesn't make any sense to me. If I'm going Philly against one of the better teams in the NFC, I know it's a divisional opponent, give me the Bucks -4 every day of the week. I might go alternate spread and do like 7.5. I think they win by more than a touchdown. Don't really understand why it's even close. I think it's an absolute letdown spot for Dallas, coming off of what Mikey said, the grossest fake win against the Panthers last week. And this Bucks team, I know they just blew out the Chargers, but I don't think they're a team that just folds to a shitty team. If anything, they'll be close, but like, they're not. I don't think they're losing this game. So I think more likely than not they blow them out. So I'm going to take them -4.
Yep, I'm in agreement. Make it a full sweep. I like the Bucks -4. They've been one of the stronger teams to be, one of my favorite teams to watch as well. I just like everything they're doing on offense, solid defense as well. I will have a same game parlay for this game, so stay tuned for that on the Focus 5. But I like the Bucks to cover this. I think it could, even if any iteration of what you imagine this game, I just don't see the Bucks losing this game or winning by less than 4. So I like the Bucks -4. Feels like just don't overthink it spot. Now we head to a last game, which also they could flex Monday Night Football, which I don't know why they didn't flex this game, but here we are. Saints Packers. We'll start this one out. I'll give my controversial take now. I'm taking the Saints plus the 14. I had to take one of the bigger spreads. I like this one a lot better than the Patriots game. I think the Packers, you come off last week, big primetime spot, blowout spot. I don't think it's going to happen again. I think this will be a more low-scoring game, which leads towards the 14 points being like it's will be closer to cover that distance in a low-scoring game. So I'm taking the Saints plus the 14. Hopefully, it's not a Saints versus Broncos situation where they just get their doors blown off. But I think they can cover this 14. If it gets to 14.5, I may actually bet it. But I don't know. I mean, these big spreads I don't usually bet. I just like to pick against them. But anyone with me on the Saints? Or are you guys both taking the Packers to win by multiple scores?
I'm with you.
Let's go. Rattler Nation.
Yeah, it definitely could be like 35-7, but
yeah, no shit.
The Saints with Rizzy, man, as their head coach, they're a scrappy bunch. You never know.
Do you think he gets extended?
No,
I bet.
Do you think he stays on the roster?
He'll be part of
as a part of the coaching staff.
That's like an awkward one because like at first you're
Yeah.
head coach, now you're like, oh, you're actually going to be OC now. I don't know.
I think he'll get interviewed and he'll go through the whole process with everyone else. But I don't. Yeah.
I don't see it really, but
give me the Green Bay Packers minus 14.
That's what Antonio Pierce did, right?
Yeah, he's one of the few though it's actually happened, like being the interim and then getting the head coaching job.
Yeah, the Raiders kicked out.
Clearly hasn't worked out. So I don't know if they want to follow that pattern, but.
True.
I think that's kind of why they do the interim, because it's like you're just not going to be the coach. Like they just pick somebody who's like not going to be the guy, but could be wrong.
Fair. I'm not going to overthink it. I know the spread's 14, kind of like what Dub said. I picked the dogs in the New England game, so I'm going to take the favorites in this one. I just think that the difference in these two teams are a lot different. Non-divisional matchup. Packers are at home, coming off a primetime game on Sunday, so it's not a short week. It's actually a longer week. I think they continue to show that they're ready to make a run for, if not the 1 seed in this playoff, that they're going to make a serious run, I think. Like, I think whoever they play, whether they're a wild card team or if they end up getting the 1 seed, depending upon how the division shakes out, I like the Packers long term. And I think that they kind of state that with a dominant win over the Saints at home.
Okay, some more Daryl comments for his picks. He's picking Jags, Niners, Dolphins, or he's switching Niners to Dolphins, Bucks. He said bust to move Mayfield. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, if anyone knows that.
No, I don't give a shit.
Okay. He's got the Packers by a big margin for sure. Hayner, Rattler, don't matter. Packers defense going to pick them apart. Cam agrees with you. So we'll head into the Focus 5. We have Mark, 2-4, pending his 3 picks still. Added in a pick because he gave the Ravens money line against the Giants jokingly, but when I saw him this weekend, he made sure that I needed to add that into his Focus 5. So his Focus 5 now stands at 1-5. Mikey, you're up first. 13-42 record. Do you have anything, or you just
I don't have anything prepared.
Here we go.
I can go if you want, and then Mikey
I'm
can
going
research.
to take the Chuba Hubbard and Moneyline Panthers.
Okay.
Love that.
I don't know. Yeah, that's one of them. Ken, we can go.
So that actually is one of mine as well. I love that one.
Can I make a bet instead?
Yeah, it's fine.
What do you say?
We're taking the Thunder tonight against the Bucks in the
-5.5.
NBA.
Yeah, no. I'm going. I have a nice little parlay.
We're going. Whatever.
Are you underwater? What's happening?
Hello? I don't know.
Can you hear us?
We can't hear you, brother.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. That's a lot better.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
All right. What's your NBA Cup?
Thunder by a million.
So Thunder -5.5. I'll write down.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And continue, Cam.
Okay.
So this is not part of my Focus 5, but I do have an NBA Cup pick. $10 no sweat to win $300.
All right.
Giannis recorded triple-double.
Hitting?
Nope. Giannis triple-double. Damian 20 points, 3 threes, Bucks to win. Take that as you will. I'm getting that money back, and I'm probably going to throw it on one of these Focus Fives going into the weekend. First one, we're going to do a little AFC West parlay from Thursday to Saturday. We're going to go Chargers money line and Kansas City money line, both short spreads. I think that'll probably put you at plus money. I haven't done the research yet, but I do like that. And just in case the Chargers or the Chiefs don't hit, I got a little Saturday parlay. We're going to go with Mixon and Derrick Henry to score a touchdown. So that's leg number 2. Leg number 3 is actually what Mikey just picked. It's going to be the Panthers to win and Chuba to score. Chuba didn't score last week. Panthers obviously get blown up by the Cowboys. I kind of like going against those, like these inconsistent teams, especially these worse teams. I think going from week to week, whenever someone doesn't score, I think they have a better opportunity to score the next week. And then also the Panthers playing a very inconsistent and shitty Cardinals team, as those have been following know that I don't like them. So fourth one, we're going to go with Detroit minus the 6.5 and a Gibbs touchdown, especially Montgomery out. I think Gibbs gets obviously the majority of the carries, and I don't see how he doesn't end up in the end zone, and I don't see how this team ends up keeping it within a close game against the Bears, as they've just embarrassed themselves later on in the year. And then we're going to make a little nice clean it up Monday night parlay. We're going to go Green Bay money line because I know the 14's a lot, but I do like Josh Jacobs to score 2 touchdowns in that game. I think that if they are going to win, I think they might even ground and pound it, make it a little bit more of a gross game, and that might not cover the 14. Hence why I'm doing the money line, and I can see Jones getting in there twice. So those are my Focus 5 for the week. All parlays, but they're a little bit more conservative than my usual picks.
All right, Michael, you want to go or you want me to go?
No, I'm asking the chat, aka Ben. Ben Como's in the chat. He's gonna be making my picks for me.
Okay, he has 3 to go. You have Thunder and then the Chuba parlay.
All right, wait, I got it.
Here we go.
Here are our 2 picks. Drake May over 600 yards, and Tua to get concussed.
Wow, I thought this was a clean podcast. I was told I was censored on this podcast.
I thought this was a
then
serious
we can say
podcast.
shit like that. Yeah. Jeez Louise.
Those are my picks from Ben and Rylan. They're both watching.
We need one more. Also, there's only one viewer in the chat, so that's mathematically impossible.
They're watching it together.
They're watching it together, holding hands.
All
right, Deb, you go.
Okay, you need one more pick.
He needs to pick his other one.
I need to make my other pick.
All right, I'll give my Focus 5. Here we go. We got a little pre-Sunday parlay, so 3 games, 3 legs. First leg, Chargers money line. I like them over the Broncos. Like Cam said, Mixon touchdown. I'm not really sure what's going to happen in that Chiefs-Texans game, but I do like Mixon to score. He hasn't been in the end zone. Last week, he didn't have a great game, so I think he bounces back this week. Last leg, Ravens-Steelers, I'm taking the over 44.5. Last time they played, 18-16. I think this time goes way over. The Steelers have shown they can score a lot of points, so I think
I'm sorry, any update on Pickens?
No, I have no idea.
No.
I'm assuming he could go, but I don't know. So that's the parlay there, pre-Sunday parlay. Straight up money line, I'm taking the Commanders money line. Nice underdog pick there, 3.5 point underdogs. I'm sure that's probably like a plus 150, plus 160, that type of area. So that could be a nice payday for you there. Got a money line parlay. I like the Lions to bounce back, the Bengals to destroy, and also I like the Cardinals to win against the Panthers. Cardinals I know are the sketchy leg on that, but I needed something because both the Lions and Bengals are minus 6.5 and minus 7.5. So hopefully the Cardinals can pull it out against the Panthers. Second one, kind of a more sketchy parlay. The Vikings only 3-point favorites. I'm taking their money line. I'm taking the Dolphins money line and to pick them. I just think that I'm trusting the Dolphins this week to get the job done over the 49ers. So both those 2 paired together for the 4 o'clock. And then my same game parlay for Sunday Night Football. I got the Bucks -4. Mike Evans over whatever the yards is. They haven't come out with the player prop totals yet, but Mike Evans is on the chase for 1,000 yards. He's only got 3 games left to do it. He needs 250, so I'm taking his over whatever it is, and I'm taking the over 48.5 for the game. I think the Cowboys, even in their losses, have scored a lot of points, so I think they can get to 48.5. And then I like the Bucks to hammer as well. So those are my 3 picks for the Sunday night game. Might use a little same game parlay boost. Not sure if I'll be in Boston or out of the state in time to place that, but if not, I will place on the almighty Fliff. So Michael, you have one more pick to give out. What is it going to be? And you can also change your picks to serious picks if you want.
I'll keep my Drake May pick to be 400 yards or 350 yards, whatever his line is at yards.
Okay.
I'll take around that. And Tua, that one can stay because I did that another time this year also.
Okay.
We're going to do my spread Broncos over Chargers along with Cortland Sutton touchdown.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that'll wrap it up. Week 15 and 16. Cam, as always, I'll give you the floor to make your college football picks. We can kind of rapid fire through because there are 4. So we'll start with Friday night.
Can we talk about? Do you want to talk about the Heisman? Do you think he deserved it real quick? Yes or no? I'm saying yes.
If I had a vote, I would have voted for Genty, but I can see the case for Travis Hunter.
Okay, I'm going Travis Hunter. I just don't think that there's many opportunities you see a two-way perform like that. But I knew it was a little bit of controversy. Just wanted to bring it up. But you can keep going.
So actually, before we get into this, I will have potentially a stream in the next 2 days coming with my friend in the chat, Greg Small. We'll be breaking down all the games, giving our bracket for the college football playoff. Won't be a weekly thing, but just wanted to have a nice podcast about that. It'll be fun to talk through the bracket, see what our picks are, pick against the spread for week 1, maybe give our picks for each game. So I'm not gonna give my picks now. That you can stay tuned for that stream later on in the week. We'll post on Instagram, YouTube, hopefully advertise, get some people in there, have a nice stream there. So I won't give my picks. You can stay tuned on this channel for that. But Cam, Mikey, do you want to give any picks as well, or you want to just see Cam's picks?
Cam's the professional college football.
So
I have been relatively high. I'm not going to lie.
We have Indiana +7 in Notre Dame. There looks like it's going to be snowy, 32 degrees. Your take?
Yeah, give me Notre Dame -7. I thought it would have been 6.5. I thought I saw it 6.5. I don't know. I think it's kind of a wake-up call for Indiana. I know they've been playing really well this year. I don't want to take anything away from them, but it's kind of similar to the teams that we talk about in the NFL. Based off competition, I mean, they haven't really played anybody other than Ohio State, and they lost, kind of got blown out. So give me Notre Dame at home. I know even the weather dependent. I don't know. I think Notre Dame's just a tougher team. As much as I want Indiana to win, but I'm going to go with Notre Dame -7.
Okay, next one we have ACC SMU going into Penn State. Another snow game looking like Penn State -8.5. Your pick for that game?
8.5.
Yep.
So you might see a trend here that you're not going to like because one of them not being in your favor. I'm going to go with the favorite in this. I don't think SMU belongs in this college football playoff. Just based off more looks wise. I know record wise they probably should be in, but I think that's something to be argued about. I think Alabama would absolutely blow the doors off either of these teams, honestly. So I'm going to go with Penn State -8.5, even though they haven't looked great. I just don't think this SMU team is deserving of the college football playoff bid.
Okay, next one we have Clemson heading to Texas. Texas -12. Weather should be fine for this one considering it's in Texas.
I think that this is actually +12. I didn't realize it was going to be that high. Texas typically likes to play low-scoring games. I know they blew out Michigan early in the year, but Michigan's obviously not the team that they were last year. This Clemson team shows a lot of fight. I know it's ACC versus SEC, and Texas has been top 4, basically looked at as the SEC champion going into the projections and everything. But I don't know. I think Clemson can make it a game. Texas doesn't score a lot of points. I'm interested to see how they split up Quinn and Arch in the college football playoff as opposed to how they did towards the end of the regular season. But I think 12 is a little bit too much. I think 7 would have been or maybe even 8 would have been a more fair number. But I'll go with Clemson +12.
Okay, and the last one, little stake in the game here. Ohio State. Tennessee visits Ohio State. They get the 7.5 hook. Looks like this one will be snowy as well. So potentially 3 snow games.
Give me Tennessee. I'm probably going to sprinkle Tennessee money line. Dylan Sampson score. This Tennessee team isn't a typical SEC team. I think they're a little bit different. They're not going to – not that the SEC team likes to throw the ball around a lot, but this team's one of the better running teams in college football, and I think that benefits them going to the snow game. I also just think this Ohio State team is fraudulent. I think everybody's trying to get rid of Ryan Day. And this is the perfect opportunity to do so if he loses to Tennessee. So I think the writing's on the wall. I think Tennessee wins this game outright. and Ryan Day's gone. Mike Vrabel's going in there probably in a week or two. So those are my picks. That's probably my favorite pick, honestly, is the Tennessee. That might, if I could do a Focus 5, that would be probably my Focus 5 for the college picks.
Okay. Anything on any bowls before then? And there's not really anything relevant.
I haven't really looked yet, honestly. Yeah, I knew I was primarily focused on that, and then obviously the NFL slate that we were talking about earlier. But
Oh, good.
that's all I
All
got.
right. Anything else before we wrap up? Special stream announcement. We will be live next Monday due to Christmas being on Tuesday, or Christmas Eve being on Tuesday, games Wednesday. So we'll be live
Hopefully
Monday.
in person, Mike,
Yeah.
if you're down. I will be in Rhode Island during that.
All right, so another in-person stream.
Another live pod.
Something to look forward to there. It'll be pre-Saints Packers game, so maybe we can kind of live watch that, depending on how the timing works. But maybe we can do like a quick reaction after, whatever. But we will be live next Monday. Scheduling note due to the holidays. So thank you guys so much for being along for the ride. So we recorded Outer Banks season 4 today. So
don't fucking watch that. Any viewers, don't watch that. Watch any other video other than
that. And Outer Banks
season
Outer
4.
Banks character tier list will be the next 2 episodes out. Have you guys seen the movie The Guilty with Jake Gyllenhaal?
I have, actually.
Review coming to that soon.
Okay, I'm interested for that. Not fucking Outer Banks, but
okay. Goodbyes from the chat. You all have a good evening. You as well, Daryl. Thanks for sticking along with us for this picking. And one last comment from Mikey, a challenge from the chat. Ben Como says, Mikey, pour maple syrup on your head. Will you complete this challenge or no?
I have this maple flavored whiskey bottle here.
Oh, I'll allow it.
It's empty.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Good night, everyone.
You can smash the bottle over your head.
We'll be back Monday night. So see you on Monday night.